What's up, lovers of whiskey and watchers of YouTube? I am the Malt activist, and I am back. And I'm back with a whiskey that I have been eyeing for a very long time now. And this is the Glenlivet 12 Illicit Still. Before we begin the review, let me remind you of our subscriber giveaway. It's very simple. If you're a subscriber, when we hit our 2,000 subscriber mark, you will be automatically entered into a draw to win my whiskey of the year, the Arran Quarter Cask Strength, right? 4 winners. That's right, I'm talking about 4. 4 lucky people, 4 lucky subscribers of the Malt Activist channel will receive a bottle of the Arran Quarter Cask delivered to their doorstep. Logistics permitting. So if you aren't a subscriber already, why not just hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, make sure you're a subscriber when we hit the 2,000 subscriber landmark. And that's not all. The stash goes. That's right, the stash goes at 2,000 subscribers. So in order to fill that void in my heart that the absence of this mustache is going to leave, I'm going to give away 4 bottles of the Arran Quarter Cask. All right, just subscribe, man. It's easy. Just subscribe. All right, cool. Now that we're back, here it is, the Glenlivet 12 Illicit Still. I love the packaging on it. It is a sealed bottle. I have not tried this whiskey yet. I like the packaging on it. It says the original stories. So this is what I know. This is a 12-year-old whiskey bottled at 48%. Not bad at all. It says it is non-chill filtered. Excellent. However, copious amounts of color are in this whiskey. Copious amounts. And I think they've deliberately put this, used this color of this bottle to mask what's inside. So, well, it is what it is. So, what do we know about this? It's called the Illicit Still because it's an homage to their founder, George W. Smith. If I'm not, George Smith. George Smith. It's an homage to him who founded this distillery back in 1824. But before that, he was an illicit whiskey distiller in the Glenlivet Valley in Speyside, and he used to illegally distill whiskey and then take it all over Scotland, especially the Highlands, and sell his wares. So that's the story. I thought that, because it has this whole thing about paying homage to the good old days of illegal whiskey making, that we would have something that is a throwback to that style of whiskey making as well. However, the reports that I have read so far do not indicate that. However, we will be the judge of that. So here you go, ladies and gentlemen, right in front of you. The unveiling, the unpackaging, the opening of the Glenlivet 12 Illicit Still. Here you go. That's that's what fake color looks like. That's what caramel looks like. There you go. Man, it's already quite light. So how much lighter was this whiskey that they had to put caramel in this? Wow. I don't even know what sort of maturation this is. It seems like it's like full-on just bourbon barrels. Definitely full-on bourbon barrels. I do not really get any trace of sherry casks in here. I might be mistaken, but really what it feels like, seems like it's all bourbon barrels, or at least a very large percentage of bourbon barrels in this. So I'm thinking a mix of first and second fill. I don't know if there's any sherry involved. I know that the regular Glenlivet 12 does not have any sherry in it. I think it's just bourbon barrels, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I am mistaken. I don't know. But this very bourbony, very bourbony matured, not bourbony. Interesting nose. It's a full nose. I remember the regular 12 not having such a full nose, but are we comparing? They seem like two different whiskeys, so let's maybe not compare. So this one is at 48%, which is good. I like the fact that we've used the H statement, which is good. I like the fact that it's non-chill filtered, which is good. I don't like the fact that it is colored, and frankly, I don't know how much color really went into this. Well, immediately, I think the nose is interesting. We have fresh fruits, quite floral, very citrusy. I'm talking pineapple, green apple, and pears, green pears, sweet honey, vanilla, caramel, and custard. But the whole thing, the whole bouquet of flavors or aromas is shrouded in a nice, slightly spicy oak, which I think is very interesting, and I like that. I know the whiskey is going to open even more, so I think this is an honest nose. So exactly what you'd expect from this distillery. These are very, very sort of distillery characteristics that I find on the nose, but they seem a little amped up, which is nice. And all of these aromas seem to be covered in this nice sort of toasted oak, which I quite like. Nothing too remarkable, nothing too outstanding, but a very, very decent nose. We'll talk about the price in a bit, and I think that's really the big factor in this whiskey. But for now, I think the nose is quite decent. Even if it's unremarkable, it's a decent, it's a good nose, and it seems like it's an honest whiskey, really. Wow. Okay, cool. So I guess there's nothing left for me to do but dance. Wow. This is quite pleasant on the palate. Really pleasant on the palate. Medium to full bodied. I wasn't expecting it to be really that full bodied, but it is. I thought it'd be just about medium to thin, but no, it's medium to full, which I like. The fruit is quite prominent here, and I think that's the mainstay of this palate. I'm talking about pears. I'm talking about cooked pineapples, sweet almonds, like think marzipan, and ultimately this sort of long-lasting dry oak spices. And yes, that honey and vanilla come back as well. Wow. So this is a wonderful little dram, I think. And the reason I say this is a wonderful little dram is because of the price point. This I bought for roughly £45. So in the state that the whiskey industry is in today, you're getting a 12-year-old whiskey which is non-chill filtered at 48%. I mean, that's damn good. 48% whiskey with an age statement that's non-chill filtered, and you're getting it for £45. So I think it's definitely value for money to be had here. In terms of the flavors and the aromas, I don't expect anything more from this whiskey. It is not, let me tell you something, it's not blow your mind outstanding that I will lose the plot. But this is a decent whiskey, and I've always said this for like a lot of whiskeys. This is one of those that I would start the evening off with because it is uncomplicated. It's honestly made. It delivers some nice flavors that you would expect from a whiskey matured in bourbon barrels, and it's very decent. Is it exciting? No, it's not exciting. I don't think it's meant to be exciting. I wish You know, when they say this is an homage to the olden days of whiskey making, I wish they had made it similar to how olden whiskeys in Speyside were made, which is, you know, at least the use of peat to the very minimum, but there's absolutely no peat in this. So I think it's more just marketing than anything else, and really the production is kind of the same. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the regular 12 amped up to 48% instead of the 40%. Maybe a little more active first fill bourbon barrels in here as compared to the original 12. Yes, even though we had said we're not going to compare, but you know, I'm just I can't help it. So what's my verdict? My verdict is a very respectable B minus. Yeah, which is just a little above average, and the reason I'm giving this a B minus and making this above average is because of the price point, and I think it's a fantastic price point. At roughly 45 pounds, you get a 48% ABV whiskey, which is good, and you get a 12-year-old whiskey, which has very, very decent flavors. So hard to find any major faults in this. Yeah, hard to find any major faults in this. It's not spectacular by any means, and I'm not sure if they were going for that as well. I mean, what can you expect for 45 pounds? It is what it is. It's an honest whiskey. It's a decent whiskey. I'm interested to see what other sort of expressions they come out with under the Original Stories banner. I really hope that they try and emulate some of the older style of whiskey making, which is what I'm personally interested in. Otherwise, it is a straightforward, honest whiskey from a decent distillery and at a very, very good price point. So, does it ruffle any feathers or spark any fireworks? No. But this is definitely good value for money, and 100% you should have on your shelf because you're going to be drinking a lot of this. At least I am. You know, when your friend comes over and he's like, hey man, what do you got to drink? That's your first drink. This one, the Glenlivet 12, illicit still. Just, hey, here's a couple of drams. Let's warm up before we open up the big guns. So this is where I think this whiskey sits. So yeah, so thank you. Thank you for joining me for this whiskey review. I'm the Malt Activist. Until next time, peace.